Hi Ellen, I'm making this video to help you navigate the course website and also the Smart Science Virtual Lab website. So when you first log in, you should see something similar to what you see in front of you now. You should have a course overview, and online AP Biology should be one of those options. If you click on it, this will access that course and it will take you to the course overview page. Now, I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit and I'm going to go to the first unit. And you can access that unit by clicking on the E01 Biochemistry and Intro to Cells tab at the top. And now you have your first unit. Okay, and each unit is divided in the same way, in the same format, where you have a unit overview. In this case, it's the E01 overview, a E01 resources section, and a E01 activities section. And so before you start any unit, you should first of all start from the top and work your way down, and the first thing you see is instructions and checklist. And so this will help you keep a tab on the things that you need to do. And so as you go along and you finish things, you can mark them as completed, and as you can see, the bar, the completion bar here at the top, will go ahead and fill up as you complete things. So after this, you have the unit overview. Okay, and this is very important that you read this before you begin each unit. It has an introduction, it has the TSWs for each unit, it's got a timetable, an outline, and it's got the resources, formative and summative assessments, and in the major questions that you're going to answer in the glossary, in the course glossary. So you have to take these major questions and you're going to use the glossary section in each unit to answer these questions. So you'll have major questions for each unit. Let's go back to the main page and quickly let's scroll down, and I'm going to access the E01 lab activity 1, solubility. So this is the first lab activity of this unit. So if I click on it, it takes me to another page and it gives me a little bit of instruction on what to do. And so we're going to go to the lab and we're going to select the solubility lab activity. So as I do that, it's going to take me to the Smart Science Explorations page, and this is where we do all of our virtual labs. So now we need to, or in your case, you would need to select Dan Heffley, AP Bio, and then you can select your name. Okay, there it is, Ellen Chow. And so for now, I'm just going to select my name, and I'm going to put in my password. Of course, when it comes for you to do it, you would need to put your name and your password in there. And so as soon as you do that, you get the main menu of the Virtual Labs page. And so as you can see, on the left hand side we have a list of all of the lab activities that you can do for this class. Okay, and so it's divided into an introductory section, a big idea 1, big idea 2, big idea 3, and big idea 4. Now we're not doing the labs in any particular order. Well, we're not doing them in this order. Okay, so you need to make sure that you read the course outline and the unit outlines to know in what order you're going to be doing the labs, because it's important for you to do the labs in the right order. Okay, and we're not going to be doing all the labs. If you choose to do all the labs, that's great. That can only help with the upgrade for an A. And so, and I was thinking that's one of the possibilities that we can have, is that if you want to upgrade, then you can perform additional labs. So I'm going to select the solubility lab, and I've highlighted it, and then I click on choose, and this will take me into the lab activity per se. And so this is what you get. Okay, you get a introduction, a lab description. You'll have a warm-up quiz, a quiz that you will need to take, and of course I'm not going to spend time here to answer the questions, but once you answer the questions, you submit the answer, hit OK, you review your answers, close, and now you're ready to take the lab. Okay, and so there's a video that you watch, there's a hypothesis that you need to put in, and then you can enter the lab. And there's a whole section here on extra information that you can use. And so here you write your hypothesis here. Hypothesis here, and then you need to make sure you hit enter first. Okay, and the little pop-up window comes up and it says, okay, add a new hypothesis. Yes, let's add that hypothesis. And then once you get it down here, pick your hypothesis down here, then you're ready to enter the lab. Now we're in the lab. Okay, the first step in the lab is to watch the video. And each lab is divided, is done exactly the same thing. Wait, you're going to have a watch portion, a watch the video portion. You're going to have a measurement portion. Excuse me. And some labs have an offline activity, which is optional. So now we're going to do the measurement portion. And so it says there, click on selection on right that best represents the solubility. So you need to select one of these to determine what to record, to do your measurement. And so it looks to me like I'm going to go with insoluble, okay? And then I'm going to hit next. All right? And so you can, that was our sodium chloride, okay, up here. And you can select other options there. We're going to go to sugar. Once again, watch. Okay, measure. Once again, I'm going to hit soluble. Next. And so you go on like this, okay, performing each section of the lab like this. And so all the labs are in the same way, okay? You have a watch section, you have a measurement section. Okay, sorry about that. I had to change browsers. For some reason, this was not working in my Chrome browser, and so I switched over to Internet Explorer. And so if this ever should happen to you, this is what you can do. And so once we finish the lab, we go and take a quiz. And yes, now it's working. And so this is a quick post-lab quiz. So you go through and you answer the questions, submit your answers, okay. And then, once again, it goes through and describes, tells you the right answers and gives you a description, an explanation of why that answer is correct. Finally, the last thing after you take the post-lab quiz is you write a report. And this is pretty straightforward. You get little boxes where you write your information. And so, just like a regular lab report, this report is divided into your purpose hypothesis, the materials, the procedure. It goes through the data. Then you have a results section and discussion, conclusion, and reflection sections. And so at each stage, it tells you what you need to write there. So, for example, the purpose and hypothesis, it gives you hints, what is this lab about? Okay, so you type in what the lab is about, consider what you are trying to discover, relate to any previous labs. There, the materials, okay, list the materials used to perform this lab. Okay, please include more materials than just keyboard and computer. All right, I know this is a virtual lab, but please take into consideration, act like it's a real hands-on lab activity, and include the real material that you needed to perform this lab. In this case, you need beakers, you need test tubes, you need sugar, salt, test tube rack, okay, and all that, water, and distilled water. And so that would go under materials. Under procedure, you can write a step-by-step procedure of what you did. Okay, once again, act like this is a real-time, real-life lab when you write the procedures. Okay, for number 1, I did this. Number 2, I did that. Okay, and so after that, you review your results, you discuss your results. Okay, in some cases, you may or may not need to perform calculations. For this particular lab, you don't need to make any calculations. And so after that, you have the discussions. Okay, it gives you pointers on what you need to discuss, and the conclusion. So once you finish, you submit your report for grading, and then I'll come along and I'll grade it. Okay, I didn't submit it for grading. I saved it so that I can work on it later. Okay, which is also an option. All right, well, that's it. I hope this helps you navigate both the course website and the lab website. If you have any questions, please send me an email. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.